Hey everyone, welcome back to Firestone Forge. Today I want to do another SCA story time. I'm going to do another video later on with the chasing and repoussé, but right now this is something I want to talk about. So in my first video of SCA story time, I was talking about how I'd met this gentleman named Ragnar, and like as a kid, and he showed me the SCA a little bit, and I got involved later in life, in my mid 20s, early mid 20s. I don't know, it's been a long time ago. Anyway, what ends up happening was he took me to my first real official fighter practice down in, I think it was San Jacinto. It was either Hemet or San Jacinto in California, Kingdom of Kaid. Anyway, so I go out there. He drives me out there. We go out together in his vehicle. Now, he had lent me several pieces of armor. Like, I had made this coat of plates that was really horrible. Sometime I'll talk about that. Like, the arm protection that I had was solid steel construction, which was great, but the problem was it didn't really fit me. Like, the van brace portion was too long. It would cut into my wrist when I would throw shots and whatnot, so I would like throw very few shots. I would do what's called gunslinging because you can only throw 1 to 2 shots before it started cutting in. It was a nightmare. But I didn't know. They weren't mine and I didn't know how to fix it. Anyway, there was a lot of problems with my whole kit. But anyway, I get out to this fighter practice and I'm looking around and I see a bunch of different guys, and I had a lot of good fights and everything else like that. Like I was doing stuff that, you probably shouldn't do, like a full spin around. And one of the guys like, maybe don't do that because I could have like hit you square in your spine. I had to stop a shot, and I was being unsafe is what I'm trying to say. And so these guys, they had to kind of explain that to me. And once they did, I understood. It was, yeah, that's fine. Of course. I'm not trying to get hurt, not trying to hurt myself or have anybody hurt me. So my armor kit busted at a certain point. I don't exactly remember what happened. Things just weren't working right. I was fighting it in the first place, but like a bunch of straps end up kind of going loose on me or breaking or something. Well, this other guy who was there, he was a knight. He lent me his armor kit. Now I put it on and it was great. It fit really good. It was a little bit bigger than me. He was much more built. I was still a scrawny kid, but I'm 6'2", and he was about the same height. So I go out there and I had seen like a bunch of different fighters and whatnot. Well, of them, there's this one guy. He's short, 5'6", 5'8", mate. No, not even 5'8". He's short. He's 5'6" or something. Anyway, that might be generous. I'm not sure, and I'm not trying to insult by any means. Okay, I want to make that clear. With that being said, he's got a beard, not quite as big as mine at the time, maybe just a little bit shorter, but it was gray. And I'm sitting there, I'm looking at him, I'm like, he's short, he's got a gray beard. Chances are he's older. There's a good chance that if I hit him, I'm a young buck. And I try not to be, what's the word I'm looking for? I try not to be arrogant, but I'm feeling a little bit arrogant. I'm like, I don't want to hit this guy and crush him. So time comes. I go through, like, I'm wearing this loner kit and I'm feeling real comfortable, right? I get in the line and I'm going through the line and I'm watching him. I'd been out there for a little bit. One of my other friends is videotaping. He ended up showing up a little bit later than me and Ragnar did. I have all this on VHS, by the way. It's back in the States. Someday I'll end up pulling it out and maybe trying to upload it, but it's hilarious and it's cringeworthy. It's awesome though. Anyway, so I get out there and finally, like this guy, he's smoking, like he's beating up a bunch of people, like leading me through the line. Like, as I'm going through the line, he's not lost yet. He's just staying out there. And I'm like, okay, this guy's got some skill. There's something to him. I haven't had a chance to like even meet him yet, or talk to him. And I've done a few other fights. I'm like, okay. And I've been trying to watch this guy. So I get out there and I've got a heater shield strapped to my arm and my sword. And I'm doing an A-frame stance and, all this other kind of stuff. And he takes my legs, and I'm like, how did he take my legs? No idea how he took my legs. I couldn't see it for some odd reason. I couldn't see how he hit me, but he took my legs. Okay, so I go down to my knees, and I'm sitting there, and so I'm blocked up. I've got my shield pushed way over front, and I'm trying to defend my head. And he comes in, he steps right on me, he's throwing a bunch of shots and all this other kind of stuff. Next thing I know, I lose my arm, my sword arm, and I'm like, he hits me in the arm, so therefore that means that basically it's been crushed or unusable or something along those lines. That's, part of the rules. So he steps back. I, say arm, so he takes a step back, being chivalrous. I throw down my shield, switch over to my other hand, and put my arm behind my back. He hits himself in the leg and comes down on the knees. It's a part of being chivalrous. And so we start throwing again. But he's got his shield and his sword, and I still can't get, I can't get him. He just starts bapping at me. And I'm defending as best I can, with this arm, trying to block. And takes my sword arm again. Takes this arm. I'm like, how did he hit it? I didn't see how he hit it. He says, put it back up. So I put the sword arm back up. And I'm trying to, get him, and I can't get nothing. He starts attacking again, so I get to defending. Takes the arm again. This happens 3 times. By the end of the third one, he ends up taking it. And I'm mad. I'm livid. I'm not mad at him. He's doing what he's doing. But I can't see how he's getting me. And like everybody else that I've fought to, I've caught something off of him. I can't see nothing. I can't figure it out. And it's driving me nuts. And I'm like, what do I do? How do I deal with this? So I am upset. This guy, he's got me so many times and everything else like that. And finally, I'm angry. I am livid. I'm not angry at him, but I'm angry that I can't see what's going on and figure it out. Anyway, so I get up and I start walking away, and he says something like, don't be angry. I'm just trying to show you that you're leaving something open. And it caused me to stutter, which isn't a typical thing, but I was so angry. I was like, I know. And so I walk away. And I get over there to Ragnar's pickup truck, and I'm like, I'm going to drink some water, and I'm taking my helmet off, and I'm mad, and he does another couple of fights or whatnot, and I'm watching him like a hawk, and I'm mad. I am really mad. And finally, he's like, and he stays out there. He's whooping butt the whole time. So eventually he stops and he comes over, and I've had time to calm down. I'm kind of, yelling at Ragnar. Not yelling at him, but yelling I don't understand it. Anyway, he comes over and he sits there and he goes, I'm not trying to make you angry. I'm like, no, I understand that. I'm not angry at you, but I'm angry because I can't understand how you're hitting me. I don't understand how you're getting me. What am I missing? He sits there. He just he gets this puzzled look on his face, and he just kind of sits back, stands back a little bit, and just goes, I'm a lefty. I was like, it all made sense. Our sword arms are on the same side. I had never experienced fighting a lefty before. That's how he took my leg. He just hit me over here. I was defending over here. Why did I not see it? It was one of those moments. And I had to stop and just lower my head and just laugh. And I was like, all my anger just kind of melted away. And it was like, that's the piece that I was missing. That was the piece of the puzzle that I couldn't find. And it wasn't it wasn't something typical. It was I should have looked for that, but I had never experienced that. So it didn't make any sense. So anyway, after that, I had a good chuckle. I patted him on the shoulder, or he patted me on the shoulder, something like that. And we ended up going out there. I drank a little more water, went back out there and fought more passes. And then when I came up to him, I'm like, okay, how do I fight you? And so he gave me some good tips and stuff like that. And I worked with him for a good number of years after that. He was always at the fighter practice. Well, I'm not going to say his name because, I haven't talked to him about, telling any of these stories or whatnot. But he ended up becoming a knight, and I was there for his knighting ceremony. He also became a duke. I believe I was there for one of his investitures or, coronations. And that was some of the happiest moments of my life as well. These were poignant moments. Well, I'm going to try and finish this story up. I got a guy out here doing some yard work, it sounds like, and, it's annoying. Anyway, these are things that are important to me. These are stories that will always stick with me. And ever since then, I've learned lessons from. These are some of my friends. These are some people. And I recommend the SCA because these are the kinds of stories and experiences you'll have and some of the people that you'll meet. It was all about help and growth and love, friendship. Have a great day, and I'll talk to you later.